I'm super excited to make this video because we're finally talking about my best reads for 2021. Hello, welcome to another vlog, and for this video we will be discussing the books that I loved, the books that I enjoyed reading, the books that lifted me up from my worst reading slump. By the way, if you're new here, my name is May. I am a traveler, a foodie. I was supposed to do or make videos about traveling and food, but the pandemic came. But I love reading. I am in love with reading since I was a kid. I love arts as well, although I don't have enough time to make more arts right now because I am also a corporate employee. I'm an auditor and I am a single mom. And if you hear those screams from a little baby girl, that's my limousine, right? And by the way, speaking of limousine, this book's just arrived. This is from Anak ni Rizal. So, these are 4 books. They're basically a series of duology. So, ito yung first duology, The Peculiar Tale, and this is the sequel, Nimosine's Tale. So, kaya naalala ko because my kid's name is Nimosine. I named her after a Greek goddess of memory. So, this really intrigued me. Very interesting. I can share more of this book on another vlog. Punta muna tayo sa list of the books that I really enjoyed reading in 2021. These are not necessarily released in 2021. I'm not even sure about the release dates of these books, but I finished reading them in 2021. And we have 10 books. But we will not be ranking them. I just picked them up and listed them here from my Notion tracker, and they're arranged based on how or when I finished reading them. So let's get into each book. Okay, so first book is Anxious People by Frederick Backman. This is one of the 3 books that got me out of my worst reading slump. I've been in my reading slump for decades already, but not basically because of a lost interest or something. I just didn't have time and then think of reading again because I was so busy with my other hobbies, which are traveling and art. So, Anxious People, I saw this in the list of 2020 best choice from Goodreads, so I picked it up and I enjoyed it. It's just so super light and very malaman. I believe there will be a movie about the book or based on this book on Netflix or somewhere. Anxious People is basically a story of a hostage taker, which is not actually a hostage taker but a bank robber. So, ganito siya. Ito, spoiler, kwento. So, the bank robber, yes, she's a she. So, she just needed a small amount of money to pay for rent. So, bakit siya nag-rob ng bank instead of just applying for a loan or making utang from friends? Because wala na siyang friends and because na-decline yung application niya for loan. Because she just lost her job because her boss is apparently having an affair with her husband, which is also the reason why napalaya siya sa bahay nila and she needed a separate apartment. Kaya kailangan niya ng pambayad sa apartment kasi all her savings, all her money, all her possessions, her things, naiwan dun sa bahay. As in, wala siya. Parang naging last resort na niya yung pag-rob ng bank. And apparently, this bank is a virtual or some kind of digital bank. Wala silang cash in the office or in the branch. But yun, hindi siya alam ng bank robber. So, nagkagulo sila, na-alert ang police. That day was a holiday, parang Christmas Eve or New Year's Eve. Everybody is not expecting some kind of crime na ganon. And everybody is very eager na to go home and spend their time with their family. So, nagulo ang buhay nila dahil sa bank robber na ito. So, nung dumating si mga police, yung authorities, Siyempre, tumakbo siya. And she went to the building across the bank. Apparently, it was an apartment building. Almost all units were locked and all parang families na nakatira doon, parang probably spending time with their relatives or traveling out of town or out of the city. Kaya mga nakalock yung units except for one which is open for apartment viewing. So sa apartment viewing na yun, we have 7 or 9 people or 10 or 11. Medyo marami sila. And nung pinasok sila ni bank robber, everybody thought it was a hostage taker, including the police. So akala nila nag-aantay sila ng notice na kung ano yung gusto mong ransom. So that was my favorite part, na nakulong sila sa room, because they talked about life in general, not just anxiety, but depression, suicide, marriage, having a kid, pregnancy, the small and big things that kala natin tayo lang yung nakaka-problema, but lahat tayo mayroong problema. So, super nice read. Nabasa ko to September, October, when I was in the isolation facility when I tested positive for COVID. Pero bumabalik lahat ng story ng libro, and I just realized how good it is right now. Even more. That's one of my best reads for 2021. The next book that I read that I loved is The Midnight Library by Matt Haig. This is my first time reading Matt Haig, and I'm glad that I picked Midnight Library. This is also one of the best choice for Goodreads fiction ng 2020, kaya ko siya kinuha. This is a story of a girl who took her own life because she felt like she was a failure, she was a loser, that there are no people who needs her na kasi all her family, friends, parang kind of distant na sa kanya, tapos failure pa siya sa work niya, sa career niya, and personal life. So, she took her own life. Parang it was the easiest way to escape the pain or the frustration that she was feeling. After what happened, napunta siya sa isang library, and nung tinignan niya yung oras, nung napatingin siya sa oras, ba't niya titingnan yung oras? So, nung napatingin siya sa oras, it was midnight. It was actually midnight. Kaya siya naging Midnight Library. So, the library is apparently yung parang afterlife from memories mo. Not just memories, kind of. Parang subconscious mo. Kasi the books there were her life choices that she didn't actually took. So, may mga books doon na pwede niyong basahin, and she gets to actually live that life choice. So, pwede siyang, kung yun talaga yung gusto niyang life choice or decision, yun na yung magko-continue ng buhay niya. And unti-unti niyang malilimutan kung ano yung totoong nangyari. So, parang yung second chance of your life. It's just a good book. Parang it's kind of a self-help book na rin siya, but in fiction style. Parang feeling mo you're a failure na, pero it's not reason to take your own life. That there is always a chance after its challenges. So, super inspiring. It's a very, very good book. Midnight Library by Matt Haig. Next book that I loved is, this is a classic. My second or third classic pick for 2021, A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. Binasa ko to not even in Christmas, not even in December. Kuha ko kasi yung free copy niya sa Kindle, Amazon Kindle. Kaya nabasa ko siya earlier than December. So, Christmas Carol, this was my first time reading it, but I saw the film from Disney. So, almost the same. Even the lines, the dialogues, same na same. Kaya super cute. This became one of my favorite classics since I read it. Kasi it's not just about Christmas. It's about how you view life in general, not just Christmas. Kasi, paano ko ba explain? There is this, so, napanood ko yung Disney version of this one before I read the book. But the book is just so nice. Even more nice. Even better. But they're very, very close. This is a story about Scrooge who hates Christmas. And not just Christmas, basta lahat ng happy. Ayaw niya. Hindi niya maintindihan the positivity of people and happiness of people. He is the grumpy grandpa, ganyan. And then one day, he was visited by his old business partner. na namatay na. Yung ghost na to is very symbolic kasi ang ghost niya is human, of course, pero nakatali siya ng big and heavy chain. So, yung chain, siya ay naka-change sa mga boxes or big boxes na ganyan, na hindi naman sa siya ganun namatay. So, ewan ko, nung bata kasi ako, feeling ko pag yung mga mumu, kung ano yung itsura nila ng ghost sila, ibig sabihin yun yung itsura nila nung namatay sila. But this one is different. Nakalimutan ko pa, Jacob. Jacob died. Accident ba yun or illness? Basta namatay siya sa ibang way. But the symbol of chains and boxes is or are representing the challenges or the burden na nadala niya sa afterlife niya. So, he was parang problematic. He was his emotions, his feeling was very heavy nung namatay siya. Kaya heavy din yung kanyang go. Pumunta siya kay Scrooge to give him a parang heads up. Uy, parang wake up call na, uy, wag ka masyadong galit, wag ka masyadong mataray, wag ka masyadong problematic. Because when you go na sa afterlife, ito na yung magiging itsura mo. And even heavier. Sinabi rin ni Jacob na may magbe-visit sa kanya na 3 ghosts of Christmas. These are the ghosts of the past, present, and the future. Si past, pinakita sa kanya yung past memories niya for Christmas. Si present, pinakita sa kanya yung current experiences, stories ng ibang tao about Christmas. Yung mga happy memories ng mga tao sa Christmas. Kung ano yung mga nangyayari sa Christmas, basically. And the future is the very intriguing part. Very scary, to be honest. I recommend this to everybody. Children, not so young, mga adults, ganyan, of any age. Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens is one of the best books that you can read for yourself. So, that is A Christmas Carol. The next book that I loved is The Reading List by Sarah Nisha Adams. This is a story of dalawang points of view. One is a young librarian na hindi naman talaga siya librarian. She just need a summer job kaya nagtrabaho siya sa library. Pero she's not a lover of books. Di ko alam kung ba't mo tatanggapin ang librarian na walang alam sa books and walang gusto sa book. But the concept of the story is very good. Kaya kasama siya sa list na ito. And the other point of view is in an older man. His wife just died. So, medyo hirap siya mag-move on. His wife was a book nerd, a book lover. She loved reading. And there is one book na naiwan niya sa bedside table niya. Kasi mayroon lang siya ng book sa library because they didn't have a space for a shelf. So, may isang book doon na naiwan. And intentionally, I think it was intentionally left there. So, binasa yon ng ating main character, kanyang husband. It brought back memories of his wife. He loved the book, obviously, because it's a very, very good book. Pumunta siya sa library to give it back. But instead of giving it back, nanghingi siya ng recommendation. So, nakilala niya itong librarian na hindi naman librarian. Ito pa yung galit na, wala lang. Nainis ako sa kanya. Ayoko sa character niya. Nakalimutan ko yung pangalan niya. And eventually, naging okay din sila. And itong si librarian, nakakita siya ng reading list. Isang book. Kill a Mockingbird yata yun. Tapos nakaipit lang din yung reading list. And then, those are a list of... there was a list of a book recommendations na almost lahat sila classic. Yun. So, nakakuha siya ng idea. Gusto niyang itry, basahin. Si librarian, gusto niyang itry, basahin yun. So, she picked up the first book, which is Kill a Mockingbird. So, binasa niya, nagustuhan niya. So, she recommended it to Mukesh, the older man. So, naging friends sila because of that girly that I forgot the name. Inisa-isa niyang basahin yung books, and then after finishing one book, binigay niya kay Mukesh, kay older man, as a recommendation. So, nagkasundo sila kasi magaganda naman talaga yung mga books na recommend. And I plan to reread all of them. So, I'll make a video of that as well. So, nearing the end, si girly, medyo naging fond na siya ng reading. And it became part of her everyday activities. Pero, yung kapatid niya, which is a guy, siya yung mas matalino, mas masaya, mas responsible, ganyan. Mga magkakapatid, may mga ganun talaga, no? So, ayun, may ganun siya. And then, their mom was sick then. So, itong si kuya, si kapatid niya, ang medyo mas nakakaalaga kay mommy because she was just like, parang, ayoko sa kanya. Ewan ko sa kanya, bakit ganyan? Bakit siya ganun? But I love the book. Thank you sa character niya. Because of it, meron tayong librong reading this. Yung kapatid niya, nag-suicide. Yes, todohin ko na yung spoiler. Ilalagay ko na lang sa title. Yan. So, nagpakamatay itong si brother and na-realize niya na masyado na siyang swamped sa pagbabasa na hindi na niya napapansin yung kapatid niya. So, inisin niya yung sarili niya. Actually, itong mga books na nasa listahan ko ngayon is not an escape kasi parang it's more, they all are more of parang living another life. Yan. Not an escape from reality kasi all of them are realities of different people. So, yun. I love this list. I hope you can pick up this one of these books. Hi. So, my camera died and I had to do some mom stuff. So, this is me the next day. Anyway, we stopped at the reading list. So, now we go to the next one. Infinite Country by Patricia Engel. This is about a story of an immigrant family from Colombia who moved to the States. And of course, sa una, they acquired the tourist visa pa lang because that's the easiest, and they plan to find jobs there kasi it's easier that way. Even until now, I think they have one kid, a girl, and during their stay, they had 2 more babies. 2 babies are of course American citizens, but the 3 of them, the mother, the father, and the panganay, was still a Colombian citizen. Hindi pa rin sila naka-acquire ng citizenship in America. Tourist visa expired and the plan didn't go smoothly. Nahirapan silang magkuha ng permanent job. Ang ending, they became TNTs. If you're Pinoy, you know, TNTs, they're illegal immigrants. There was one nangyayari that made the husband expose himself to the authorities. So, he was deported back to Colombia. So, nagkahiwalay sila. Kasi the mother, instead of sumama siya pabalik sa Colombia, decided to stay because sayang yung opportunity. She stayed and worked there as a single mom. And nasa kanya yung 3 mga bata. Medyo mahirap sa kanya. And also, may mga nangyari sa kanya na unimaginable and even traumatic experiences being a single mom in a foreign country na you're not even a legal citizen. To the story of the father, siya naman, meron din siya syempre pinagdadaanan. Hiwalay siya sa family niya. He did not have job agad-agad. This is a very fast-paced story and very, very short book, but the story is very malaman and mahaba. I recommend this book if you need to know, if you're interested to know the life of an immigrant family and how they encounter problems, what problems they encounter how they get through it. Very realistic, I think, yung mga nangyayari sa kanila. Even not immigrant family and not yung mga broken family, that's very, very possible. Not just immigrants, basta yung magkakahiwalay sila. This is a very good epitome of those kinds of stories. And that's why I loved it so much kasi it's very realistic. So, Infinite Country by Patricia Engel. The next book is Four Winds by Christine Hanna. This is a very, very good historical fiction. This was set back when the women are just expected to be a wife and stay at home servant. Kind of. Ano ba? It's a so stupid idea. Anyway, Four Winds is about the story of the Great Depression and all the other disasters that came after it. That all people suffered from. Not just the natural disasters, but the domino effect of the same. Scarcity, poverty, political issues, lahat ng agawan, lahat ng lang ako nito, wag ka na, akin na lang to, mga ganon. We follow the story of, what was her name? I am bad at remembering names. So we are following this woman, the story of this woman who grew up accepting na she was ugly, that she was a failure, na ito lang yung kaya niya just because di siya pretty and her education was limited. Not because they're mahirap, but because women are not encouraged to go to school and have an education. They are encouraged to develop themselves as a woman and as a wife in the future. Apparently, this girl was so ugly. This girl was not very attractive, and even her parents think that no man will want her as a wife. Medyo hurtful kasi this was coming from her parents na. One day, she tried to run away from home, and she met some man na naging crush niya, at dahil sabik siya sa attention, something happened to them and they had a baby. The parents wanted to force the guy to marry her because apparently it was a disgrace for them, na parang may rumors na their child or their daughter was ruined. Kaya gusto niya syempre pakasalan mo tong anak ko. And then, long story short, they were married, but the family of the girl left her na dun sa family ni guy, which is stupid. I don't know why there are kinds of parents, but so they left her in the guy's home, which is a blessing in disguise din naman kasi she found a better sense of belonging with the family of the guy. So, okay lang din. But the Great Depression came and there were challenges that forced them to, rethink of their family. Kasi itong si Guy, gusto niya ng, malaki yung dreams niya. And he didn't like living in a farm. Kasi farm family sila. So, he didn't like that. But the wife and the family, his parents, ayaw nilang lumipat ng lugar because the farm was their life, which is okay lang din naman, di ba? But may mga tao talaga na medyo malaki or mataas yung pangarap, and one of those is the husband. So one day, iniwan niya yung kanyang mag-ina, kanyang mga parents, which is a very move. So challenges came na force sila malis dun sa farm because of the Great Depression. May other challenges pa when they came into the city. Not just the natural disasters pa din, but the people in the city medyo mahirap maghanap ng pagkakatiwalaan, and we all know that. So that's basically the meat of the story. All the life challenges during the Great Depression and the years after that, and living life and going through challenges being a single mom. Okay, next book is Mexican Gothic by Silvia Moreno Garcia. This is a horror pick of the best reads for 2020, I think, on Goodreads. So this is a Gothic book, horror book, which is kind of light. For me, it's light. It's not very dark. I heard some reviews na it's very dark, pero I've heard darker. This is a story of a girl who, she was a party girl, ganyan. Tapos, city girl siya. The family got a letter from her cousin who just married a country guy. So they got the letter, and it's very weird. It's very unsettling. Very not so her letter, and it talked about very scary things about their home, kung saan sila nakatira currently nung kanyang napangasawa. It talked about ghosts, talked about mushrooms, poisons, spiders, snakes, spider ba? Everything scary and creepy, and gory, ganyan. So, it mentioned na he was trying to kill me. So, naturally, the family got worried and the father parang nagkaroon siya ng deal with with his daughter na pumunta sa castle or dun sa mansion to check on her and to make sure that she was okay. Pagpunta niya sa mansion, medyo feeling weird na siya because it's kind of scary. The description of the mansion was like a haunted mansion, parang ganyan. So, medyo scary naman talaga and heavy yung feeling mo when you stay there for long. And long story short, they discover that there is something hallucinating sa home or dun sa mansion. And not just mold, it's some kind of other organism. And there is also a touch of ghost kasi ito yung buhay, some kind of, in the with or for this organism. And parang merong kind of ritual or something, a process, a system na this was used for immortality of the head of the family. The head of the family, the grandpa, was an immortal and parang meron siyang pagpalit ng skin na nagaganap. So, ang immortality niya is not for one body only, but for what they call this, parang yung soul niya, yung spirit niya, yung pagkatao niya, pumupunta siya dapat sa descendant niya, which is a selfish kind of immortality. So, ang objective ng kanilang family is to continue their line kasi nga, he needs a descendant na paglilipatan ng kanyang pagkatao, which is kind of creepy. And kung ako yung descendant, bakit ako papayag, guys? It was not dark for me. I enjoyed reading the book and it's a different concept, different idea of immortality and horror story or gothic story, which I really enjoyed. So, not necessarily the best book, but the best read for me. Halloween read ko yata to. The next book is one of the best books that I have read in the Christmas season. So, The Postbox at the North Pole by Jamie Admans. Usually, the Christmas books was just like thing happen. Family matter, romance matter, relationship stories, friendship stories, swapping stories, life swap stories, anything na nangyayari. Tapos it was set in Christmas. That's it. Those are the books that are Christmassy books. But this one, The Postbox at the North Pole, is more than Christmas. Yes, we follow the story of a lady na medyo nawala na yung belief niya sa spirit of Christmas. And so one day, she received a call from her father asking her for help sa work ng father niya, which is keeping a sanctuary for reindeer. Of course, medyo nalito siya kasi si father is mostly a traveler and adventurer, and why do you have a job with reindeers? So, apparently, her father was staying in somewhere in Norway, north of Norway, and yun na yung work niya currently that time. So, he needed help because he had a heart attack just recently. So, he needed help. So, as a daughter, of course, kahit medyo nagtatampo siya sa dad niya because of his traveling, wala siyang time even for Christmas. Medyo tampo si girly. But because of the heart attack, oo si girly. So, punta na lang siya sa Norway. Okay, tomorrow may flight ka. I have your ticket. Agad-agad. Pumunta siya doon. It was Christmas time. So, pagpunta niya doon, apparently the place where her father was staying was a Christmas village, not just a reindeer sanctuary. It's a Christmas village na open for tourists. Complete with, of course, natural yung snow. Parang all year yung snow sa kanila. And complete with Christmas cabins, Christmas decors sa paligid. And there were reindeers actually. And meron talaga, nagkikip talaga sila, nagsisave talaga sila ng animals, mostly reindeers. So, they were also the North Pole na ina-address natin sa ating mga Santa letters. So, natatanggap nila yung mga letters from the kids and adults. Yung iba may mga adults na rin. Pansin niya yung resemblance ng father niya with Santa Claus. Complete with beard, costume, the big body, ganyan. And as in Christmas na Christmas. And at first, I was thinking na it was a magical book. Baka siya talaga si Santa and there is some kind of magic na totoo pala yung Santa, etc., etc. But no, apparently this was a Santa. Totoo Santa siya that they give back gifts and respond to letters, but not the real Santa that I was hoping for. But still, this is a story. This is a romance book, so they held the head elf, which is the right hand of Santa, na business partner niya rin sa village, was the love interest of our girly. But I know that is the meat of the book, the story, but my interest and my attention was in the father and daughter relationship ng dalawa, ni Santa and ni ating girly. But also, the romance part is kind of okay lang, ganyan, may kilig part, although I had a very wild imagination sa dalawang yon kasi the description of the guy in the book was so exaggerated, like the giant term was used, the big body was used, like he can hug a mountain, ganun siya kalaki, and our girl was like 5 feet or something. Ganun. So, medyo exaggerate yung pagkaka-describe kay Guy na naalala ko ang mga giant scary guys sa mga napanood kong movies. But this is a very good story. I just hope there were more of the story of the father and daughter relationship and kung paano sila nagkabati. Kasi nagkabati na lang sila just because of pero it's fine. I enjoyed the book. This is a very good Christmas book. It's very different sa mga Christmas book na nakikita kong recommended. Mostly set lang siya sa Christmas season and that's it. Walang Christmas spirit, walang Christmas vibe. But this one, merong Santa, merong snow, merong gift giving, merong happiness, merong Christmas spirit, merong Christmas magic. So may touch of everything na sa Christmas mo lang talaga may imagine or may experience, which made it more Christmassy for me. And I enjoyed the book so much. So that's one of my best reads for 2021. The next book is The Wish by Nicholas Sparks, because you can never go wrong with Nicholas Sparks. If you want a very light and good read, feel good reads, Nicholas Sparks. If you need a good romance story, Nicholas Sparks. And if you need a Christmas life story, Nicholas Sparks, and that is The Wish by Nicholas Sparks. So The Wish is following a story of a travel photographer, and one day she discovered na meron siyang melanoma, which is a type of skin cancer, and meron na siyang tanning sa kanyang buhay, and very limited na lang. And very painful na kasi nararamdaman niya na medyo nag-a-addict siya sa pain reliever, so alam niya na medyo malapit na siya. So the rest of her days, medyo sinusulit na niya kung ano yung gusto niyang gawin or kung ano yung kaya niyang gawin, kasi of course marami siyang gustong gawin, but her physical status is limited or limiting her sa mga gusto niyang physical gawin kasi medyo traveler siya, medyo adventurous siya. But she was running a exhibiting or selling her works photographs, ganyan, yung mga images niya. And meron din siya mga partners dun sa gallery. So, of course, the whole staff of the gallery was out for the Christmas break. And except for one na nakuha nila bagong employee nila because they needed an extra hand. Itong bagong hire na to is a young man. And he decided to stay sa gallery with our protagonist. Nakalimutan ko na naman yung pangalan. Meron sila ng time to bond. And nakwento ni ating main character ang story niya kay Baby Nan. So apparently, our girly was got pregnant early, nung mga 16 yata siya. Her parents brought her to this parang not so isolated island, but far away from home kasi ayaw nilang malaman ng public or ng kung sino man na she was pregnant at 16. Tumira siya dun sa island na yun with her aunt, and dun siya nanganak, and dun nag-grow yung kanyang character. So, may nakilala siya doon na guy, na in love siya doon. But this was a very emotional book na iyak ako sa mga nangyayari sa buhay niya. And hindi lang yun yung nakakaiyak. Madaming parts ng book yung very emotional and a good cry for Christmas. Kasi parang this was the last Christmas for her. Tapos she got the greatest gift that she didn't know she was hoping for. Very good read. Mukha ba akong sad? Happy yung ending na to, happy. Okay, next book and the last book that I will be sharing for this vlog is The Book of Lost Names by Christine Harmel. So I finished this in audiobook and I plan to reread it with my own eyes. Book of Lost Names, this is the story of a girl na she was an artist, but she was helping to forge documentations of people from the Nazi era, escape the Nazis. We all know how bad that era was. Story of a forger, may pagka-romance, may touch of romance, but this is mostly, the story is more focused on the children. No, not the children, but how they lost their real identities. To hide their identities, they need to change their names. And of course, itong sa ating girly ay medyo mabait siya. And she wanted to keep the real identities of the children. So medyo sentimental siya because that's your pagkatao, that's your real pagkatao. So sabi niya, let's keep it. Let's keep the names of these children, and maybe one day kapag okay na yung mundo, wala na tayong mga tinataguan, they can acquire back their identities. So that is the Book of Lost Names, which is literally a book na encrypt doon yung mga names ng mga bata. That's the entire gist. Medyo slow-paced yung book, but the story, the concept was really nice and very, very interesting. Very, very unselfish. Ganyan. And the kilig, may kilig part. Once lang ako kinilig. But yun, this is one of the best books or best reads or best audiobook that I have finished in 2021. So I can say more kasi I want to know, parang ang memory ko mas nagsistick kapag binabasa ko siya with my own eyes. Kaya gusto ko siyang basahin ulit this year. That is The Book of Lost Names by Christine Harmel. So, that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. If you're still here, I hope you guys could pick at least one of these books because these are a very, very good read. They may not be the best books, but you will enjoy reading them and you will pick up something personal from them, which is what I like about stories and books. Hindi mo kailangan gustuhin all aspects of one book, of one character, just to make it or just to tag it as the best read. So, and if you have recommendations, of course, I am more than open and more than excited to try and read more. So, Leave your recommendations in the comments box or add me on Goodreads. Anyway, that's it for today, and thank you so much for watching. See you on my next one. Bye.
I'll give you ukulele lessons Monday mornings if you're free. We can go to wherever we like, there's so much out there to see. And you can paint a picture while we're playing of the palm trees in the air. I can sing you all that I've been